and welcome back to Kidzone. Dun, dun, dun. Hope you are all doing really well, whatever you've been up to this weekend. Maybe you've been outside on some walks, maybe it rained, I don't know. Because it's not actually the weekend for me yet, so I don't know what the weather's going to be like because I cannot control the weather. But anyway, what I did have though was a really interesting question that Josh and I were talking as we were eating our lunch today. And this has got nothing to do with Kidzone whatsoever, but is there any animal that if you were to drop in water would just sink? Wouldn't be able to actually kind of swim a little bit? Like, it's not necessarily about being a good swimmer, but there we go. We couldn't come up with an animal that if you just put in water would just sink. There are some animals that aren't very good swimmers, but they would still try a little bit. So anyway, there you go. There's a random challenge for you today. Can you find an animal that if you were to put in water would just sink? Or can all animals, or everything on Earth, like all mammals, well, and not all mammals as well. Anyway, have a think. I don't know. Let me know, because that's what Josh and I were talking about over lunch today. So there you go. Insight into our lives in our little flat and the things that we get up to. Anyway, that's enough of that. I think it's time to get started with Kidzone, and of course that means that we need to worship. And last week we had so much fun worshipping together on Zoom at our live 4 o'clock, and next week we will be doing the same. So make sure you come along for that one. But right now, let's stand up and join in with the Action Angels.
You put the freckles on my face, and all the fish that swim and all the birds that fly were made from your incredible imagination. Creator God, we're singing to the Creator God of all the world. Creator God, we celebrate you. We celebrate you. Stripes on every bee, and all the grass that grows and all the leaves that fall, part of your amazing plans for this creation. Creator God, we're singing to the Creator God of all the world. Creator God, we celebrate you. We celebrate you. A heart in everyone, and all the music played and all the dancing done reminds us that we're made to be creative like Creator God. We're singing to the Creator God of all the world. Creator God, we celebrate you. Creator God, we're singing to the Creator God of all the world. Creator God, we celebrate you. Creator God, we're singing to the Creator God of all the world. Creator God, we celebrate you. Creator God, we're singing to the Creator God of all the world. Creator God, we celebrate you. Creator God, we're singing to the Creator God of all the world. Creator God, we celebrate you. We celebrate you. We celebrate you. We celebrate you.
Well done for worshipping along with us this morning, or this afternoon, whenever you're watching this video. But it is now time for our memory verse, and this series that we're looking at in November is all to do with being creators, isn't it? We're looking at lots of different kinds of art that we can do and structures that we can build or things that we can make. And ultimately, God is the master builder and he made us. And so let's say our memory verse together and it will come up on the screen. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created them. Male and female, he created them. Genesis 1, verse 27. Brilliant. That is a great reminder, isn't it, for us today as we continue to think about lots of different things that we can create. And ultimately, it is now time for our silly game. So let's head on over to the kitchen and see what Josh and I create today. Brilliant. So, for our silly game today, we will need a pen and some paper. Okay, and today we are thinking about the body. Okay?
The body?
The body. From our head to our toes. And so, what we need to do is we need to have a drawing competition to see who can draw the best person.
Ooh.
Okay?
How long do we have?
How long do you feel that we need?
I mean, I can draw to a level of...
A stick man.
Yeah, in about 30 seconds.
Okay.
Or I can, draw to a level of like some kind of famous painter. Yeah, if I had the same amount of time as them, some people spend like 3 months on some of these
Yeah,
things.
we haven't got that long.
Okay,
So,
great. The memory card will get full.
yeah, so somewhere between 30 seconds and 3 months.
Okay, great.
How long do you want?
1 minute.
1 minute. Okay, cool. So, let me get to my food. Okay, so, we will draw our pictures in 1 minute. If you have got your paper, then you can go ahead and do this alongside us as well. So, are we ready?
Yep.
On our marks. Get set. Go. So we need a head. My problem is kind of doing it all in proportion.
Yeah, it's a big problem that is.
Oh no, mine's.
Are we drawing a man or a woman?
Well, whichever one you want to do. I've kind of done a woman. Oh no, mine is. Oh, I've gone wrong. I've gone very wrong. Guys, as we will learn later on today, we don't all have to be good at everything. And we all have strengths and weaknesses. My weakness is drawing. One of my many weaknesses. Oh gosh, you've only got 7 seconds left! Okay. Oh, stop. Okay. Josh, do you want to share your drawing first?
Yes. Here he is. Check him out. Oh wait.
Yeah, we can see that.
Look at that.
Very nice. And here is my drawing.
Oh, that's also very good.
Oh, it's not brilliant though, is it?
Let's bring mine in as well, side by side. Look at them. Aww.
I think we can decide from that Josh and I are not very good at drawing. But I hope that you are better at drawing, and if you haven't had a go at drawing to see who can do the best.
Who's the winner? We have to get them to vote.
Well, yeah, they're going to have to vote, aren't they? Because we
How
can't
are they
decide.
going to do that?
Well, what you guys need to do is you need to send us a text saying who you would vote for, and then by the end of Sunday evening, we will then announce the winner.
Stop that. We'll find a way.
We'll find a way of announcing the winner. We'll probably announce it following Sunday at 4 o'clock on the live. That would make sense.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Do you think we have a prize?
Yes.
Of course, because we always need a prize.
I
I think it should be that we could open up the packet of macaroons.
I think an easel.
An easel?
Yeah.
No.
So I can draw better.
I really want to have a macaroon from the freezer that we bought when we were in France in the summer.
Do they care on this?
Oh, I don't know.
We're going to tell them anyway.
We're going to tell them anyway because I told them a really random fact at the beginning of the video.
Look.
Yeah, so I think the winner, whoever you vote for, okay, should be able to have
a
macaroon. Not the whole box because you only don't
macaroon,
need one box.
just one.
Just one, okay? Just one. Send in your votes for red for Josh, black for Naomi. Which one do you think will win? And send us in your drawings as well. And we will see you in a little bit.
Bye.
Bye. Wow, well I hope you had fun doing that really silly game, and we have got another little activity that you can do later on today as well. But today we are thinking about our bodies, our physical human bodies that all of us have. But I wonder, how many parts make up a body, a human body? Okay, because we've got one nose, 2 eyes, 2 ears, lots of hair, 10 fingers and 10 toes. So let's go ahead, pause the video and see what number you can come up with as to how many parts are in one body. We have so many different body parts. We have over 100 and maybe even more, because I couldn't find a number that spoke about everything in the body. Because we have 78 organs alone, okay? Now that's a part of the body that like pumps or breathes or does something really important, okay? It's not just like a finger, it's the muscles and I'm not a doctor or a scientist, but you can figure that out in more detail if you want to. But we have so many parts of our body because we have 10 fingers, 10 toes, 2 elbows, 2 knees, and we have 1 belly button. How can we forget the belly button? And the list goes on and on and on. But you see, even though we have over 100 different parts to our body, we actually only have one body. If you could take your nose off your face, don't try that at home, then your nose wouldn't be a body by itself. It would just be a nose. It wouldn't have any purpose. But because the nose is still a part of our whole body, it's still a part, but it's part of the body. And we wouldn't say that if our finger fell off, again, don't try that at home, we wouldn't say that the finger was a body. It would just be a very sad looking finger on the floor. But when our finger is attached to our hand, which is attached to our arm, which is attached to our shoulder, which is attached to our body, it's then part of the body. And in order to live a full life, then we need all of the parts of our bodies so that they can all work really, really well so that we can get the most out of them. But I wonder if there's any part of the body that we could live without. Well, let's pause this video and have a little conversation in your families as to what part of the body could you live without. Well, I wonder what you came up with in your families as to what part of the body you could live without. You see, we can all lose our appendix or our tonsils. I've lost my wisdom teeth because I didn't need those. But I do think that we need everything else, because if we were to lose a toe, then our balance would come off and we wouldn't be able to balance very well. If we were to lose a finger, we'd really struggle to do something like tying our shoelaces, because that uses all of our fingers in order to do that. And even our belly buttons, which today my belly button has absolutely no purpose to me whatsoever. But when I was inside my mum's tummy, that belly button of mine was keeping me alive so that I could get all the nutrients that I needed. So if we didn't have a belly button, none of us would be here, because that's how we grow inside our mum's tummy. And so, even though it's not used today, it is actually very, very important. Now, today we are thinking about our body, but we're not thinking about our physical body. We are going to be thinking about the church as a body. And in order to do that, then I need my Bible. Whew, where'd that come from? Okay, so here's my Bible. Just fell out of space. And we need to find 1 Corinthians chapter 12 and verses 12 to 18. Just as a body, though one, has many parts, but all its many parts form one body, so it is with Christ. For we were all baptized by one Spirit, so as to form one body, whether Jews or Gentiles, slave or free, and we were all given the one Spirit to drink. And so the body is not made up of one part, but of many. Now, if the foot should say, because I am not a hand, I do not belong to the body, it would not for that reason stop being part of the body. And if the ear should say, because I'm not an eye, I do not belong to the body, it would for that reason stop being part of the body. If the whole body were an eye, where would the sense of hearing be? If the whole body were an ear, where would the sense of smell be? But in fact, God has placed the parts of the body, every single one of them, just as He wanted them to be. Wow! So even though we have so many different parts to our body, they all have a unique job to do. Our eye cannot do what our hand does, and our nose cannot do what our mouth does. Can you imagine if our mouth served as our ear, or our ear served as our mouth? We'd be eating through our ear. That would look a bit silly, wouldn't it? Or imagine if our hands became our knees, or our knees became our feet. We would be walking around looking really silly, wouldn't we? In our Bible passage that I just read to us, it's not talking about our physical body, but it's talking about a different kind of body. Did anyone hear that? You see, our bodies are made up of all of these different parts. And that is just like in the same way that our church family, our church body, is built up of lots of different parts. Or sometimes we might call it the body of Christ or the body of the church. That's the body that we're going to talk about today. To be a really good church, then we need to have lots of different people, all with unique gifts and jobs that they can do in the church. Some of us are really, really good at singing or playing music. I am not. Some of us are really, really good at smiling on the door, saying, "Welcome to church, come on in." But others of us really don't like talking to strangers or talking to lots and lots of people. Some of us are really good at making up drinks and putting plates on a biscuit or walking around and taking them to people to make sure everybody gets a biscuit. Some of us are really good at doing actions and leading everybody else in knowing what action to do next. Some of us are brilliant at doing tech, whereas others of us look at the back of these huge computers, all of these buttons, and we just don't know what to do. Some of us are really good at talking on stage, telling lots of people about Jesus. Some of us are really good at talking to one person and having a really good conversation with one person who maybe we've never met before, but telling them about Jesus. Some of us are really good at arranging parties so that people can come along and make new friends. Or some of us are really good at coming up with craft ideas so that you, when you come to church, can do lots of different crafts or lots of different games and activities. So we're not always doing the same. Some people in church have the time to drive a long way to go and pick up loads and loads of sweets and biscuits and drinks so that when we do our tuck shop or our memory verse challenge, then you've got all of those sweets to get. Some people are brilliant at cutting up craft so that when you turn up to do your holiday club craft, for example, you haven't got to spend loads of time cutting out. It's all there ready for you to stick on. Some of us are really good at putting out chairs in the right place, or being really strong and putting all the chairs away, or cleaning the church, because that takes a really long time because it's such a big building, isn't it? Some of us are really good at cutting the grass or cutting the plants. Some of us are good at fixing doors when they fall off, or putting up new notice boards, or fixing the lights. Some of us can paint walls. Some of us can make videos. Some of us can make logos move around. There are so many different things that happen in church. And each one of those things, or each one of those jobs that I've just listed, is so important. If we didn't have somebody on welcome team to say, "Hi, welcome to church," then you wouldn't really know where to go at the moment, would you? Because you have to go around the side door, and if there wasn't someone there saying, "Go that way, you might get a bit lost. If there was nobody to do actions up at the front, then you might just be standing there going, "Don't really know what I'm meant to do now." If there wasn't anybody at the back doing the tech, then we wouldn't be able to have any music, you wouldn't be able to hear the person at the front, and we wouldn't be able to do anything. If we didn't have someone talking at the front, you wouldn't have anyone to listen to. If nobody cleared the chairs, then you wouldn't be able to sit on the floor with your picnic blanket. If we didn't have someone to put out the chairs, then all of the older people wouldn't have a chair to sit on. Every single job that we can do in church is equally important. There is no one job that is more or less important. And that's the same with our physical bodies, isn't it? That we need a nose, we need an ear, an eye, a mouth. We need our fingers, we need our toes, we need our knees, our shoulders. We need everything in order to live life to the full. In church, we need every single job to be done. We need every single person who comes to church to do the job that they are really, really good at, so that we can build up this body of the church. Now, I wonder what job you're good at. I wonder what you think you're really, really good at and you can share with other people. Well, let's spend some time now in our families, and why not ask your parents or maybe your older siblings what their job is in church and what they can do to help everybody be this big body of church. And then, when you've figured out what it is that you're really good at, why don't you say thank you to God? Say thank you for giving me this job. Because if we were all a finger, then we wouldn't be able to do everything else. We wouldn't be able to walk or talk or hear or see or smell. But we need everything. We need all of those jobs so that we can do the best job possible. So go ahead, pause this video now and have a little conversation about what are some jobs in church that you think you would be really good at. And then spend some time praying to God, saying, thank you, God, for making me really good at this. And would you give me the opportunity to be able to use it either soon or in the future when I'm a little bit older? Wow, isn't it so good to be part of the body of Christ, or the body of the church, to be part of the same team, all working together? I think that is really exciting, to be working with so many other people, all part of the same body. And each and every one of us have a special part to play. We're all unique. Even though we might already have somebody who's really good at singing in church, we always need more people. Because just like this is a finger, and this is a finger, and this is a finger, these three fingers are all different, but they're all still a finger, aren't they? And sometimes then we might need loads of singers, just like we've got loads of fingers. And sometimes we might just need one singer. And that's the same with people that talk up at the front on stage. We don't just need one person to talk, we need lots of people to talk. And so even if you're thinking, oh, but somebody already does that job, then that's okay, because we need more people. And everybody has got a job to play. You can never have too many people. Well, I think it's now time for us to worship and to remember that even though we're all created by God, we're all humans, we all have the same parts of the body. We are all made uniquely, and we are all made with a unique job to do on earth and in our churches as well. So let's stand up and sing Unique.
God had a master plan. He knew how I would grow. He knew the way I'd go. I've always been in his heart, all the way back to the start. I've always been in his heart, all the way back to the start. You made us unique. You made us unique. Every face that we meet, every person we greet, made by you, Jesus. He's got a call on me, my piece of history, and in my Father's hands, I am his perfect plan. I've always been in his heart, all the way back to the start. I've always been in his heart, all the way back to the start. You made us unique. You made us unique. You made us Jesus. Every face that we meet, every person we greet, made by you, Jesus. Right from
done for worshipping along with us today. Now, if you would like to do a creating activity today, then as we have been thinking about being one body, I was thinking, why don't you go ahead and decorate some biscuits, okay? Because no matter how many sprinkles or icing sugar or different colours you put on your biscuit, it still remains a biscuit, doesn't it? But it gets yummier and yummier and yummier the more things you put on it. Or if you're thinking, actually, Naomi, I think I could do something bigger than a biscuit. Why don't you make a pizza? Okay, because a pizza, you need a base, don't you? And the base might be like our bones, okay? We need our bones. But the more things that we put onto the pizza, by the time you put the sauce, the cheese, the pepperoni, the ham, mushrooms, sweet corn, pineapple, the list goes on and on and on and on and on. Because if we just had a cheese pizza, although it's yummy, it might be a little bit boring. But actually, the more things we put on our pizza, it gets yummier and yummier and yummier. And all of those bits have served a different purpose. They're bringing a different flavour to the pizza. But it's still one pizza with lots of different flavours on it. So if you want to, then you could go decorate some biscuits or make a pizza. And do send me some pictures of what you come up with. And I would love to see them. And I would love to taste them as well. But we'll have to wait for that another time. But I hope you've had a lovely time with me today, and you have a really great rest of your weekend and a good week back in school. And I will see you next week on Zoom live at 4 o'clock. I'll see you there. Bye. You are everything I wanted.